lecture. So in the previous lecture we created the code basically for this bird class and similarly for the pig, and we have some bunch of stuff that will work for our physics for this bird and the pig so as to make the movement look natural. So now what you're gonna do in this lecture is go to this Angry Bird and create a new Python file. And in this, what you're gonna do is just type here polygon.py, and you have to just kind of see here that is a polygon file. So just click OK now. So this will work with a polygon. So what you're gonna do in this is we'll just import some of the module that will be obviously PyMonk and Pygame. So PyMonk is to deal with the physics for this polygon, and Pygame is to create the beam and a column. So what is the beam and a column? So first that, let me open something in the internet to show you what the beam is and what the column is really. So let me just go in image and show you something that is a, this is column and this is a beam. So that means there will be the wood, and that wood will have something that is, if you have ever played that basically Angry Bird, then you can see that there will be the beam at the top, and that will have the column here, and inside that there will be pig. So this was the basically level which will be built from this beam and a column. So let's make that beam and a column. So for that we'll just import some of the module. That will be first PyMonk, and we'll just import PyMonk as PM so as to reference PyMonk as PM from now. And similarly from PyMonk we'll just import vector, that is vec2d, and obviously this will deal with the vector 2d, that is the dimension in the 2d. Similarly we'll just import Pygame so as to deal with the beam and a column, and similarly we'll import obviously the math module. So after that what you're gonna do is just create a class that will be Polygon Class, and this polygon will have a initializer. The first function in any class will be the initializer, and it will take some of the parameter now. That will be the position first and length, and similarly this position is the where this polygon should locate, and similarly the length of the polygon, and similarly height, and the space is basically the shape and the body for the polygon. And similarly we'll give the default mass here for the polygon, that would be 5.0. So this is default basically. So after that what you're going to do is firstly we'll give the moment for this as a defined moment, and that would be something that is, let me say 1000 is the moment. So now what you're going to do is we'll just create the body for the polygon, that will be pm.body. So there's the body class in this PyMonk, and you can just give the mass and a moment to get the body, and moment here is 1000, that is a predefined. So now let's create the position for this body. So let me say that should be the vector, and let me say that should be the given when you call this polygon. So this polygon is basically works to create a beam and a frame for us. So this the polygon means multiple shape and size, shapes and size basically. So what you're gonna do next is, so basically if you wonder, so what this basically vector 2d is doing, so it is basically defining the gravity in this position, that is in this position you will just define the gravity. So after that let me create a shape now. The shape will be PM, that is a PyMonk module, and creating a box from here, that is from the create box function. And this create box will take first box, that is body, not box, this is the body, and similarly it will take tuple that will have this length, and similarly the height that was passed when calling this polygon class. So basically what this body is, so body is the body to attach basically to the polygon, that will be attached to the polygon, this body of this polygon. And similarly what is this length and height? So basically this length and height is a composite of a size of the box. That means here a default, here should be another parameter that will be a radius, but this radius will have the default value 0, and we'll just want that the radius should be 0. So shape.color, so let's give me color now for this shape. Let me say it should be blue color. This is the RGB value for the blue color. Now let me say now that is a shape dot add a friction to it, and this time it will be not that is 1, it will be 0.5. And similarly collision type, so collision, it should be collision shape dot collision type. So shape dot collision type. So if you wonder what this collision type will do, basically this is to detect the collision. And if you go in this character.py, you should see that is in the case of the bird we have collision type 0, and we haven't had here collision type in the case of pig, but we have to have here collision type. So let me just type here shape and collision type. It should be collision, it should be shape dot collision type. So it should be added to the shape. So it should be shape dot collision, COLSION, it should be collision, and the collision type here should be, just give the another user defined. This should not be same as that of here what we have here for the bird. So it should be not shape dot collision type, and it is O. So basically we'll have here 1, and in the case of polygon what you're gonna have is 2 now, because it should not be same as that of character here. So after that, the next thing what we're gonna have is the adding the body or a shape in this space. So just add it now with this add function, and just give it the body and similarly the shape. So after that what you're gonna have is self dot body, and this is the body, and similarly not bus, it's a body, a call body, and similarly the self dot shape, similar that of character. So that was shape here. So this is basically body and shape for this polygon. So what we're going to do next is wood. So we have wood here. So firstly we'll just load that wood. So in this resources, you can see in this image you have here wood and wood 2. Here's basically 2 wood and wood 2. So let's make that and use here as wood. So let's load it first. So that will be pygame dot image dot load, and this will load from this directory that would be resources, and similarly we have image now, images. Make sure you give the same name, that is directory name, as you have here. It is images, it is resources. And similarly what you have now is just give a slash and wood dot png, and just convert alpha as always if there is, and convert alpha function will be called. And similarly what you're going to do next is wood 2 now. This wood is basically for this wood png, and similarly we have this wood 2.png, and this wood, let me just load this again from here. Let me just copy it. It should be quite similar to this, so let me copy it and paste it. So it should be wood 2.png now. So we have loaded our wood and wood 2. Now the next thing what we're gonna do is create this rect. So question here come is, that is what this rect is all about. So why we need this rect? So if you go in this wood.png, let me say wood.png, so there are multiple shapes here. You can see that is a triangular, and it is maybe a square, and again a rectangle, triangular, and circle, and all of these strange shapes. So but we are just dealing with this, but then we just need the beam and a column. So I have shown you that this is beam and column. So this shape is needed for column, and this shape, that is this type of shape, will be needed for the beam. So let's go to this again, this our PyCharm, and see which wood will be needed for the beam. That means this will be needed, or you can see this basically this small wood would be needed for the basically for our beam. And when you go to this wood 2, these images, like these images can be used, or you can also use these small images, or this small images, you can say these small images can be used for the column. So let's go to Polygon and just extract. What you need to do is, now from this wood we have a multiple, that is shapes. So we don't need this multiple shape, instead we just need this part. So in order to get this part, we'll just create a rectangle and extract only this part from this rectangle. So that would be from this function that will just create us a rectangle, and I'll say that should be pygame dot create a rectangle for me, and that would be give the position that should just extract this much of wood. That means this much of wood can be extracted from this data, that is just give 255, there's 251 and 357. so this is basically the point, and this is not the height and width, rather this is just a point, x and y point. That means if you say x and if you say y, so this point will be something that is 251 comma 357. and after that what you're going to do next is you're going to just have this 86 and 22. so this should be the width and this should be the height. So after that we'll just extract this rectangle as we needed for the beam now. So this will have this rectangle. So let's load that image now that we get the rectangle. Now just load that image and just create now self.beam image, because we have extracted the image for the beam. So we'll say self.beam image, and beam image will contain this wood, that is the wood basically dot. And if we say what is the wood, wood is basically this whole image. This whole image is the wood, and this wood dot subsurface, that is we are getting the subsurface now, or part of the surface, or you can also say slice, basically slice of this wood. That means only the part of this wood.png. that will be done from this subsurface function, and just get the rectangle part and just copy that and just get me assigned to this beam image. Similar that of beam, we also now need a column. So wood was basically, this wood was for the beam. Now if you go to this wood2.png, this part is basically for the column. So we'll just extract only this part for the column. So that will be done like, we'll just create a rectangle like that of we have for the beam, and I'll say pygame.rect, and this is used to create a rectangle, and give the position that will just extract only this part. So that position will be something that is 16, that is x direction, and similarly 252, that is y. And if we say 22 should be width and 84 should be height, because on this part, this wood 2 has very much long height, then this 22 and this should be 84. So after we extract that part, what you're going to do next is we'll just create the self now column image, because this is basically for the column now. So let me say column, and that should be image. Column image would be wood 2 now, and just get the subsurface, that is the just taking a slice from there, the whole wood, and I'll just surface and just get the rectangle here passed, and just copy that and copy it in self.column image. So we have now beam image and column image. So now what we're going to define is the next function, and that would be toPygame function. So this toPygame function will take our self obviously, and it will also take this p. So basically what this p is all about and what this pygame is all about. So this toPygame function is to convert the pymunk to the pygame coordinates. So this pygame coordinate will be important in order to just deal with this beam and column. So we have to convert this pymunk to the pygame coordinates. So in order to do that, we'll just say return that is integer, and that should be p dot and x comma, that I have already said you, it will return us a coordinate. So that means x part and y part. So I'll say another coordinate will be minus p dot, this should be y now, and just add it with 600. So if you wonder what this code is all about, this is basically a standard code, so which will just convert our pymunk basically into this pygame coordinate, and this is a predefined code by this pygame module. And what this p is all about, so what we passed here is a p. So this p is our body position created from the pymunk module. So this p will be just a body position. So after that what we're going to do is let me say something, that is this should be the wrap of the video, because we covered a lot of fancy stuff in this lecture, and in the next lecture we will make the beam and a columns. So till then, stay positive and stay healthy.